And we're live. Hello.
Hey,
Welcome, everybody. This is the check in show, 1 minute past noon. Today is Paul Ash, Mike Kamash, and no Don or Claudio. But we're here
we're
just
here.
checking in on each other,
Yep.
talking about old money in Montreal,
Oh yeah.
among the
There.
many things
Yeah.
we'll discuss, probably.
Like I was mentioning before went on air, the Mount Stevens Club. I think, if I'm not mistaken, was on Mackay, and could be wrong there, but it was a very old gentleman's club type thing, and
Not gentlemen's club, as in
no, not the
the.
modern connotation of gentleman's club. This was like very true, like money gentlemen. Although I'm sure there was shenanigans in those areas as well. However, that was not the sole purpose of the club. The club was like a socializing thing for business dealings and whatever. But oh my God, the thing was just amazing. It's like if you recall the movie Titanic, when they have that scene where she's descending this grand staircase, which was on the Titanic. They had these grand staircases, massive, like mahogany wood stuff. It was, such workmanship and craftsmanship going into building all these things. Well, they had stuff like that in there. I attended what essentially was like when my wife was working, I think, for a pharmaceutical company. They had an event there. It was a dinner. It was a banquet, and oh my God, the thing was just like, holy crap. It's like, okay, you know, I can see how some people live with this, but I could, like, holy shit, I was so impressed. It was, well, that there's echelons and there's stratosphere that you get to visit once in a while. You don't get to live there. And when you visit there, you're
Opulence.
impressed as fuck.
Yeah, opulence. It's the.
Yes.
I mean,
Well, there was also a little bit of wretched excess too, because I mean, you could tell, the carpet the carpet on the stairs was worth more than my car. So
yeah. Wow. No, the
yeah,
the building I was in, it was like, it was like, I felt it was naked because it didn't have bookshelves. Um,
ah,
yeah. Sunday, I was in a historic building which I can't remember the name of, close to the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts, and there was this one room, 20 by 20 feet, two chandeliers, just decked out with like
hmm
dark hardwood wall paneling that went up. There was a plate rail at the top, but of course it's like 2 stories high.
yeah,
You could smell the beeswax
hmm
from, that had given it its shine. There was striped wallpaper ahead of it. It was very dark in coloration,
hmm
everything in there,
hmm
but it was so huge. It was pretty much amazing.
yeah.
So
It's well, I wouldn't call it humbling, because I mean, it's just, you're overwhelmed. You're overwhelmed by what people have, what they to them, it was just like, oh yeah, we'll throw this building up, we'll put all these things in there, and it's like, oh yeah, yeah, I'm gonna get somebody to decorate it, and carpentry and all that stuff. But holy crap, it's like, and they might have used this like 3 or 4 times a year, this thing, or they may have used it as a gathering club every once in a while, good gathering place. But they might have really put full use of the building maybe 2 or 3 times a year. That's a lot of
yeah,
expense, and opulence for very little use. So, it's like, yeah, I get, if you've got it, flaunt it. But sometimes it's like, mm, you know, mm,
I can understand the people who like really well use a small home.
yeah,
But I mean, in the later years of my house, when I was still like the only child left at home,
right,
we had a living room that wasn't used, except for when everybody came over,
right,
because it was the room without the TV. Right, there was a TV room that was separate from the living room. The
right.
living room was for receiving guests. Uh,
hmm
it
A
was,
parlor, a parlor.
yeah, a
Yeah,
parlor. Not, I mean, like, this was a 1960s or 1970s bungalow
right.
with a basement. But the basement was unfinished, so everything was on the one floor. Yeah.
Yeah.
What? How
Well,
many siblings do you have, Mike? Just out of curiosity, and hello to anyone
I have
watching.
4 sisters and a brother, all younger than I am. I am the eldest of the family. Yeah.
Okay.
So, but yeah, we also like the larger family in a smaller house. Every every square inch was used. There were no like, oh, that's the room we never go into. No, hell no. You know, it's like, yeah. We had I shared a bedroom with my brother and two sisters in one room, two sisters in another room. But it's like, yeah, everybody, privacy in a small house in a large family,
You,
kind of,
you were
yeah.
6.
Six.
Okay, sorry. Yes. Okay, because you had 2 brothers, right?
I
See,
had
I'm
one.
the
I have one.
youngest.
I have one brother. There's 6 of
One.
us. I'm the eldest. He's the youngest. 4 sisters sandwiched in between.
Okay.
Okay.
See, I'm the youngest of 5.
Yes. Yes.
And my earliest memory
Hmm.
is sharing a bedroom with my 3 brothers. So 4 of us in one,
Wow.
with bunk beds
Hmm.
for the middle brothers, and sharing a double bed with my oldest brother. My sister had her own room,
Hmm.
and my parents had a room. And when I was very young, the house got expanded. They had lived there prior, but Dad only rented it when he was transferred elsewhere. And then when he got transferred back to Halifax, uh, we took it over again, I guess. And they expanded it, moving the bathroom, building like a built-in garage for below, and uh, adding a bedroom. So it then became
Two.
the two brothers and the one sister
Hmm.
having their own room. So my parents having their own room,
Hmm.
and by that point, one of my brothers had already moved out, and then shortly after that, the other one moved out as well. So I was pretty lucky. Had my own room for a while.
Hmm.
Hi, siblings. Just
Hey, siblings. I don't know if my sibling, no, actually my sister, who usually tunes in, is tending to her daughter and her granddaughter, 2 months old granddaughter. So she's probably not going to be tuning into today.
no.
So she's otherwise occupied, and I can completely understand her. I mean, it's her first granddaughter, it's first grandchild. Yeah, yeah. So, and
Yeah.
she's just adorable. This little girl. Oh my God. So, and
Uh,
the mother of this little baby is my goddaughter Stephanie. So she's
hmm.
uh, she's a special place in my heart.
Hmm.
She's a redhead, by the way. Although she's from a like her father's a French Canadian extraction. My sister, of course, my mom and dad are French Canadian. So there there's not anybody we're trying to figure out where the gene came from that struck Stephanie, my goddaughter. She's like totally natural redhead, red eyelashes, red eyebrows, just a redhead, and we
My
have
name is
no idea
Molly
where the damn
Parker.
gene was from. Eh?
My name is Molly Parker. Sorry, it's a Canadian
Yeah.
heritage moment. I can't
Uh,
remember. Was that the name?
I don't know.
Uh,
No, I don't. I'm trying to
the
remember.
Irish
Yes,
influx
yes, yeah, yeah. I
of
can't
Irish
remember
children being adopted
being
into.
being yeah being sent into Quebec, and then never, and then speaking French, and you get burns, and you get I worked with 3 guys at the post office who had Harrison, Wilson, and what was the other name? I can't remember. All French, all English names, did not speak a word of English.
Mhm.
And when I was in Ontario, I knew many people who had French Canadian names, did not speak a word of French. So it's like, so they go. It sort of works both ways, you know.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of I know that there's a quite a few uh, Gamashes in Maine, in Vermont, in New Hampshire, as far south as South Carolina. I've run across Gamashes. Of course, it's like, it's a vestigious name now. They're Americans. They speak English. They don't speak any French whatsoever. But yeah, it's weird because we just don't know where that gene's popped up. She has green
Hold on, hold
eyes,
it.
green
I
eyes, and green eyes and red hair. She could have
are
been. She could have been one of those. What's the one there? PEI. She could have taken
Anna
that
Green
role.
Gables.
Anna Green Bay. She could have been Anne. She could have been Anne.
You're going on like this, like you're about to be disparaging.
No, I'm not disparaging at all. I just
No,
say
no, I mean,
it's like
her
it's
mother's.
no, it's a rare gene, but we don't have any redheads like on the Gamache side of the family, my mother's side of the family, my father's side of the family. There is not a single person. We've looked through, extended family, cousins, second cousins. Nobody has red hair. Nobody. And we looked on her father's side of the family, and again, there might have been a great grandmother or something like that, but it is a recessive gene. It just pops up out of nowhere sometimes, right? So we have yet to really pinpoint where, because she I mean, physically she looks familiar. She has familial stuff. It's just that red hair. And when she was very, very little, my sister would get the absolute most ridiculous questions asked of her when she was out shopping with my niece one day. I think my niece was maybe 1.5. She was just a toddler. She was walking, and this woman walks up to my sister and says, "Oh, what a beautiful little red-haired girl." And she looks at my sister and absolutely, totally serious says to her, "Is it natural?" And my sister wanted to answer, "Oh, no, no, no. I have such a hard time dyeing her eyebrows and her eyelashes." Like, what kind of a stupid question is that? This is a toddler. Who dyes the hair of a toddler? Come on. And her eyebrows and her eyelashes. My sister was like, I couldn't believe how just imbecilic that woman was.
That's not the most offensive story like that I've ever heard.
No.
Uh,
What?
my ex sister in law,
Right?
of East Indian descent, born in Canada, married a one of the palest men I've ever met.
Okay.
So, me calling somebody pale. All right,
Yeah. Okay. I get it. Gotcha.
guy of Danish descent, born in Canada.
Okay. A
And,
Viking, fair haired and yeah. Was
smaller
he
than me.
blonde? Blush? Yeah.
Oh, almost white blonde,
Oh, wow.
and light eyes. They moved to the States, and they were living in New York,
Right.
and they had children.
Right.
And so she took her first son out shopping,
Hmm.
and he was being a bit fussy at Barnes and Nobles, and
Hmm.
she's there and she's buying a stack of books or whatever, and the my nephew, or my ex nephew,
Hmm.
is causing a little bit of trouble, and the cashier goes, "Oh, are you being difficult for your nanny today?"
Oh, my fucking Lord. Oh, Jesus. Oh, she didn't slap her? She didn't just
She
haul off and deck her?
she didn't do that, but she did an "excuse me."
Fuck. Oh, some people can just, like, think a little bit. Engage brain before engaging mouth? Fuck. Oh, yeah. Well, but, yeah.
But that's yeah.
I'm sure
That's
biracial
the effect
people,
of
yeah, I'm sure
systemic racism too.
I'm sure biracial people, their parents have wild tales to tell. I mean, you get like, somebody who's like you said, fair haired, who's married to an African American or something, or a darker complexion person, somebody who's maybe Latino, and you get the child that either looks Latino or looks white, and sometimes I've read where did I read this recently? There was an instance where a woman got pregnant, had fraternal twins, and one was dark and one was light, and they were fraternal twins. These
Mhm.
two little girls, born the same day, same mother, same father, and one was dark and one was light, and people were like, once adopted, right? Like, fuck off. You know, inquire. If you have a question, rather than make an assumption, inquire. Fuck.
I think if people are asking if one's adopted, they are inquiring.
Well,
Here's the other thing. Uh, MFYB.
yes, exactly.
MFYOB, sorry.
Yes.
Mind your
Definitely.
own fucking
Fucking
business.
business. You got it. You got it. It's like these are things that you wouldn't ask somebody. You wouldn't inquire of somebody you know very well. To ask it of a total stranger, you're a fucking jerk.
Yep. And I mean, like I was only joking about questioning your goddaughter's parentage. It was
No, it's of course. But it's like I said, you get people like that. They look at my sister, and they look at my goddaughter. My goddaughter looks like my sister, except she has bright red hair. Like she has the typical almost Irish reddish blonde type hair. It's not quite red like you'd see like you'd see on like what is it, the quintessential Irish or Scottish Celtic red. You're a little bit that shade, and
yeah.
but yeah, but
I've got like
it's
a brownish red.
yeah. Well, she's sort of like a fair red hair. It's not
Strawberry blonde.
yeah, kind of strawberry blonde, but it's still red. It's not. It's on the red side of strawberry blonde. It's not blonde. So, but yeah, and they look at my sister and they look at her and go, well, okay, where's the break here? They have this mental break, like, oh, she looks like, but it's ridiculous. It is. It's kind of moot point. This is her daughter. This is her mother. Fuck off.
What?
Okay, our genetics bit spiel. Let's put it aside. Let's go on.
Well, let's move along. What?
Yes.
Okay. What's adventures
These fruit
in
flies.
home renovations?
Fruit flies. Hey,
how goes the adventures in home
how are
renovations?
the status of the home renovation at the present time is on pause because our supplier of our windows and our patio door has we don't even know the windows and doors are supposed to be shipping by the end of this week from Winnipeg. Which means they haven't arrived in Montreal yet, and they were now sort of intimating that we would be getting installation the week before Christmas. And I'm sorry, the week before Christmas just does not work for me. So we're probably at the point now. I think my wife's spoken to him on a number of occasions, and the guy said basically, well, we could delay the installation until the spring, but you'd still have to pay for the full amount of the windows because once they receive it, they have to pay for them. So we would pay for what the balance of what we owe on the windows, and then we wouldn't pay for the installation obviously until the work is done. So that and then they would probably store the things until April, like early April, mid-April, depending on the weather. So we're looking at 3 months, 4 months of storage, which is not a big thing. It's just a pain in the butt.
How many windows are you getting replaced?
It's two upstairs windows. They're not actually very big windows, but it's two upstairs windows, and there's a standard size patio door. So okay. It's not for them to store it. I mean, I think they've got like a warehouse and stuff where they do where they work out of. I don't think that stacking two windows and a patio door in the corner of the shop is going to be a big hassle for them. However, if we pay for the balance, I am not going to pay for any storage costs. The storage costs should be projected onto the supplier, who's the one who essentially we were originally scheduled to have our windows put in early November. Now it's like late December. That's 2 months. No, sorry, doesn't fly. Anyway, despite the fact that there's procurement and supply line issues and all that stuff, we signed back in June for these windows, and they told us, well, we might be able to install them in October, but it'll probably be early November. Well, we haven't even received them, and it's early December, So anyway, I that's the status of it is right now. Everything's on hold. Everything else is just done. We had scheduled all the work we had scheduled was done in terms of meeting that early November deadline for installing the windows. So everything else that we had scheduled got done. Everything was buttoned up. The end of October, we were ready. But mid-October, they called us and said, "Oh, well, it'll be like December till you get the windows." It's like, what? So anyway, but these are the times we're working with, and this is the nature of home renovation and construction. Sometimes you will order something, you will contract for something, and it doesn't work out. There we go.
There we go.
So everything else is finished. Everything else is buttoned up. We're down. We're good. We're waiting. Bring on winter, and that's it. Nothing else is scheduled for home renos.
And that's the way the ball
bounces. The way yeah. But come springtime, that's going to have to happen, and then we get our delivery of our spa, and then we have to build the deck around the spa, and then the second phase of the thing is. But that phase should be maybe 2 or 3 months, and of course that's what I'm projecting. It'll probably drag on into September.
And so the third phase is when you have your swinger parties.
Yeah, exactly. The parties are the final phase. That I'm looking forward to. Not swingers. Swingers. Get your minds out of the gutter, people.
Oh, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
We heard about those postmen. They deliver.
Yes, they do. Daily. And back in the day, you used to deliver daily twice.
Oh,
yeah. When I joined the post office, in 1976, and the second delivery of mail in Canada was eliminated in 1972. So I missed it by 4 years. They used to deliver morning and afternoon. So. I mean, this was, of course, back then, of course, in the 60s and 70s, not everybody even had a telephone, much less internet or, whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it was quite a different world back then. I sound so old.
And what year did the movie The Postman Rings Twice come out on?
Postman Rings Twice. Trying to remember, it was a mid-70s movie, I think. Jessica Lange, Jack Nicholson. Yeah. I think it was 77, 78, somewhere around there. Because it might have been earlier than that. I'm not sure. And that was an adaptation from a stage play, right?
I think so.
I think it was a Broadway show.
Though it was considered oh, wow.
What? Earlier than that? Much earlier?
Much earlier than that. Well, the thing is,
there was two.
There's a novel by James M. Cain.
Okay.
There's the 1981 film.
Okay.
But there's also a 1946 film.
So it was a remake of 1940. Yeah, I do recall when the Nicholson thing came out. I do recall they had said, "Oh, it was a remake of a 40s," because it was a film noir, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's based on a 1934 novel.
Okay.
The original was Lana Turner and John Garfield.
Wow.
With Cecil Kellaway and Hume Cronin, Leon Ames, and Audrey Totter. It was directed by Tay Garnett. So, yeah. Lana Turner.
Yep. So. Hume Cronin, Canadian connection.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not okay.
Hume Cronin, Jessica Tandy. Hume Cronin was Canadian actor.
I did not know that.
You did not know that? Okay.
I did not know that.
Oh, well, I mean, he mostly worked in Hollywood. I mean,
yeah.
but he was. I'm trying to remember if he was from the Maritimes or from Ontario. I can't remember now.
Well, Wikipedia is
Yes,
directing me to him.
Wikipedia is at our
Uh,
fingertips.
His father was a Canadian politician.
Yes.
Um, was a Canadian stage and screen actor, writer who enjoyed a career often appearing professionally alongside Jessica Tandy, his wife, for 50 years.
Yep.
Born in London, Ontario.
There we go.
So, wow, he was married 3 times.
Yeah, I have a lot of old references. You guys are all like the new stuff, the Marvel Universe. I like, oh
I'm
my
the old
God, I
stuff.
can remember this guy.
I'm the old stuff. I'm the old stuff.
Yeah, you got the old stuff too?
Well,
Yeah.
no, I have what Don and Claudia would
Oh,
call
call
the
the
old
old
stuff.
stuff. Yes, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have.
I have
And
the
Claudio's
the ancient stuff. I have the hieroglyphics.
yeah. I like the 49th Parallel. Is
Yeah.
that the name of the movie? Uh,
Yes. We discussed that once, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, there it
Spy
is.
thriller, like war thing about Nazi who gets dumped out somewhere.
Hudson's Bay. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Hudson's Bay.
they travel across.
Right.
But it's I'm trying to think of the name of the who has the last line. He's actually from a very famous and financially rich Canadian family.
Uh-huh.
Massey Ferguson.
Oh, okay.
Massey. Is it Massey?
Yes.
Raymond Massey.
Raymond Massey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Laurence Olivier is billed in it as Larry Olivier. So.
Hey, Lawrence. Larry. That's Larry to you. That's Sir Larry to you.
It's before he was knighted.
I know. So. I realize that. Oof. Yeah. There was a number. I mean, it's sometimes a little bit like surprising and amazing that there were so many, especially in the early days of Hollywood, there were so many Canadians who went down there and made their mark, and America's sweetheart, right? Mm. She was Canadian. I'm trying to remember her name now. Shit.
I'm going to let you hang on this one.
You're going to let me hang on this? It's Mary Pickford.
Oh, okay.
Mary Pickford was Canadian.
Do you think the Stratford Festival had something to do with that?
Probably. Well, Stratford gave us, gave Hollywood, the Shatners and the what's his name there from Sound of Music there,
Plummer,
Shatner. There was a number of people who came out of the Stratford Festival. Large, stars and lesser lights, but also were regulars on Stratford stages. So we do have a very viable and very prominent arts community. We just don't we don't toot our own horns. That's probably our biggest. We're so fucking Canadian.
A. A at the end of that.
Yeah.
You're ruining the brand, Mike.
I know. I rarely say A in conversation. It's just I don't know. It's because I mostly most of my my life English presence is in Quebec, and not a lot of Quebecers say A. Ontario, you go to Ontario, A is very prominent. You go to the Maritimes again too, right? No. Where's A is most prominent?
Ottawa Valley.
Ottawa Valley, really?
That is the most predominantly place that people will say A.
Okay. All right.
And that is
the Westerners don't tend. The Westerners don't tend to use A lot.
Yeah.
And
unless
of course,
we're making fun of ourselves.
Yes. But and of course, then there's the people from the lovely Newfoundland and Labrador who say everything with a bye.
Not everything.
Not everything, but well, yeah. But bye is their sort of like A.
They were for a very long time. They were officially a dialect of English,
Really?
which is very different than having an accent.
Yes,
But
it's true.
with the advent of better beaming technologies and cable and television swarming, uh, like
It
I
softened it, eh? It softened their dialect.
hugely when I was a child, I remember being introduced to relatives over there who pronounced the silent K. So, uh,
Knight,
knife.
knife, and knight.
Yeah, just you cut the knot with the knife. You know.
You know. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, Did he also say sword?
That never came up in conversation.
Okay, never came. Yeah.
Knots, knives, and knowing
Okay.
came up in conversation.
Okay.
So we get out together. You got to understand what an overnight is going to be saying. It's going to be you want to know at the jet pitch, jet at the pitch.
Uh-huh.
You know what
Wow.
that was? The
No.
last bit.
No.
That's something that's Buddy was his name in the Other Fellas, which is a comedy musical group
Right.
where they're teaching people how to speak Newfoundlandese.
Yeah.
That's one of the phrases they use. Jet at the pitch yet?
Okay. What's that
Uh,
mean?
has the plane landed?
Oh, Jesus.
Has the jet hit
Yes.
the pitch
Hit the
yet?
pitch. Oh, so they were
Pitch,
they, pitch.
pitch,
Okay, that's so
pitch, as in like the tarmac.
tarmac.
Tar.
They referred to asphalt as pitch.
Yeah.
Wow. Pitch. Okay. Wow. Yeah, well,
Wow.
yeah, they were so isolated for so long that yeah, I can completely understand that. It's a little bit like Cajun French versus Acadian French versus
Hmm.
Quebec French versus French French.
Well, the origin of the word Cajun.
Yes, is Acadien.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
Acadien, Acadien.
What
Yes,
is Cajun?
and do you know what Zydeco refers to? Zydeco music?
No.
Here we go. Zydeco was because it was the music of the people who worked in the fields and picked beans. Zydeco, les
Okay.
haricots. So they became known as the Zydeco players
Okay.
because it was a sort of an offshoot of the French Canadian folkloric music that
Hmm.
was imported there with the Acadian expulsion, and it was fiddle based and like washboard and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
it was fiddle and what's the name there for percussion type stuff,
Yeah.
and so yeah, so it was like there was uh, blues, there was the jazz blues, there was New Orleans sounds, and then these were the farmers' songs. These were the Cajun, if you will, their traditional Cajun music. It was also an offshoot of the Cajun cuisine, their farm based menus, stuff like
Mm.
that. So this was workmen's, laborers, farmers' music, and that's the basis of Zydeco. Which in later in 70s and 70s 60s 70s and 80s, Zydeco became some sort of like nostalgic little bit of there was like the artists were like Jim Zeller was considered a Zydeco harmonica player.
Right. There was also sort of like the uptick at that time of folk music.
Yeah.
The resurgence and the
Yes.
various folk festivals happening, and being
Going
an
back to roots. Yeah.
upbeat kind of sound with the folk.
Right.
It caught on, and the fact that other than the fiddle,
Hmm.
most all the other instruments were very basic.
Hmm.
And could be hobbled together. Be people
Yes.
playing spoons,
Yeah.
washboards,
Yeah. Wash
using
basins. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, wash tub
The wash
bass
tubs
and
for drums and percussion and
yeah.
yeah. Yeah. There was actually I recall 2 or 3 years running at the jazz festival. They did have a Zydeco show in the late 70s, early 80s. Because I
Really.
attended a couple of shows like that. It was quite entertaining because it's music made to it's a sort of a throwback to uh, the French Canadian what they call chanson à répondre, a song where you sing out a couple of phrases and then the audience is expected to sing them repeatedly to you.
Yeah.
So it's a back and forth, song interaction
Yeah.
with the
Verse and
audiences.
response. Yeah.
Yeah, verse and
Yeah.
response. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect. There's a lot of little different things. There's quite a lot of French Canadian country music, like country, like French Canadian cultural, if you will, music that was imported from the Basque region of France. Not Brittany, the Britain
Bretagne.
coast. Yeah, Bretagne, yes. Because I mean, Saint Malo was a Bretagne coast, and Jacques Cartier came from there, and a lot of the initial settlers of New France originated from the northern parts of France, Normandy, France, Brittany, all that area. My family originally was from a town called Gamaches in France, which is just if you remember the place that Monet painted in, the Giverny,
Mm-hmm.
where he had his gardens and his water lilies and all that. It was a town called Giverny. That was in that same general area.
Okay.
It's northwest of Paris, along like near very much near the Normandy landings.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
that's the origins of my family name.
Yeah.
And the original settler came to a little town called Lille-sur-Mer, which is about 45, 50 kilometers northeast of Quebec City on the south shore of the St. Lawrence. And he landed there and he established himself there. And then from there, he bred throughout the continent. So his progeny went out to conquer the continent. Yeah, he was. That's the original Gamache to come to the New World was Nicolas Gamache in
Hmm.
1681. So my dad had the genealogy things done. He got into it for a couple of years in
Hmm.
the 90s, and he actually he the person who wrote the genealogy, my dad met him. Her actually, it was her. Met her, and she gave him a like I never realized I had so many goddamn ancestors. And because there was obviously French Canadians and the church. There were
Hmm.
a number of families that was like, oh, this great grandfather, he had 14 kids. This one here had 18. Like, oh my God, did he ever stand still? Poor great grandmother. Like,
Yeah. I had one ancestor who married, I think 4 times.
oh wow, yeah,
And like the last time, I think he was 90 something when he
yeah,
married a 20-year-old woman.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but back then a lot of women died in childbirth too, and
Hmm.
large families were just because like
Well, its
my great
children died too.
yeah children died also. It's true. My great grandfather, uh, lovingly my father's grandfather, Herménégilde,
Hmm.
which is a mouthful, and they had 14 kids in that family, and I think they had 14 kids and like 3 or 4 miscarriages or stillbirths.
Hmm.
So it's like, whoa, yeah. Did you ever get off of her?
Uh, yeah.
But he had 14 kids with the one wife. So like,
My dad was actually the youngest of 11, and actually one of his brothers, somebody dug up a New York Times article.
mm-hmm.
And you know what? I've been getting this wrong for years.
Okay.
I have an uncle who they shortened his name, and I always thought it was Frederick that they shortened it from,
Mm-hmm.
but they didn't. And this is a picture of this uncle when he was 55. Um, And I joke that I'm related to Popeye. Uh, let's see if I can share this on screen. But this is a picture from 1975. His They actually mentioned this in the New York Times article.
Okay.
There it is. They mention it in the New York Times article that everybody on board the ship actually called him Uncle because he was the oldest guy on ship at 55.
Right. At 55, yeah.
This was the Norma and Gladys, and it sailed into New York Harbor. It was one of the first kind of tall ships things, and he was the carpenter on board.
Oh, so it was a masted like schooner, or
yeah, it was a wooden ship.
Okay.
And so they did a photo essay, and this is the picture that they used in the newspaper article.
Okay.
And everyone called him Uncle Dick.
Uncle Dick.
And his name was Wilfred.
And how did he become Fred? Oh, Fred.
No, he was never Fred.
No?
No, he was Uncle Dick to me as well. That was.
Oh, really? But Dick is
usually
Dick is a diminutive of Richard, not Wilfred.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
And so I for some reason I was thinking it was Frederick, but it's Wilfred.
Okay.
So, but I mean, he's 55 there. He had dark hair as a young man, so he's white haired.
Right.
By the time he's 55. But like, look at that cigarette. Look at that face.
Yeah.
Like, I'm related to Popeye.
Yeah, you are. Did he have massive forearms?
Yeah, he did. He was a carpenter.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Look at those hands.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course, woodworking. Yeah, you got to have big, huge, calloused hands.
Yeah.
It's kind of what do you call it? A professional offshoot, or what do they call that? Hazard of the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the New York Times. It's in there's an article in the New York Times archives which talks about the ship, talks about it, and it's like my Uncle Dick gets quoted in it, and they sort of almost made it about him because I guess he was a colorful character.
You just look at him and he's colorful.
Yeah.
This guy's got a story. This guy's got a story.
Mr. Ash, who sat in a tub full of rope, spoke in a slow, measured tones of a man from Brooklyn, Newfoundland. At 55, he was the oldest man on board, and everyone called him Uncle Dick. Mr. Ash said he had never been in New York before, and that he would like to take in some of the sights. Mr. Parsons, who had come to the city on Sunday when the Norma and Gladys was docked that's not him, though, they're talking about, but said that he had seen the Statue of Liberty in Times Square. Now he wants to see the Pan American Building in Washington Square. Tell me, he said, is the Big Apple still broke? So this is 1975. It was.
Yeah, it was, of course, yes. Yeah, it was quite a ways before they crawled their way out of that, in fact.
Yeah.
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 That was the era when Times Square was the place to avoid in New York City.
Yeah. So kind of amazing stuff.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with the unusualness of my family. So
every family is distinct in its own particular way. I'm trying to remember who said that now, but yeah, everybody's got their own story, and it's always has their own little foibles and particularities, and everybody's got a story. Everybody.
Yeah, I find it so. The fact that I can see my father's face and his brother there.
Yeah.
Everybody has the same face. It's just.
Yeah, I saw my dad last night, and 93. He's still got spirit. He's still got. I mean, he's a little worse for wear, of course. 93. I mean, geez, let's face it. But he was talking about stuff that from when we were younger, and things we were talking about, a bunch of things. And my wife was sitting across the table from both my mother and my father, and she says, She says, "My God," she says, "there are times when I look at Michael," she says, "and I see you," and she speaks to my mother. She says, "I see you perfectly in Michael." And she says, and then on another day, I'll look at Michael a certain way, and it's you. And she says, "My to my dad." So I'm a melding of the two of them.
Mm.
There's air, and I look at sometimes I look in the mirror in the morning. I get up, I get up, go in the bathroom, look in the mirror, and I look in the mirror, and there's my dad staring back at me. I'm going, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I know that full on.
yeah.
Let me see if I can find a photo.
Well, you said all your brothers basically, you and all your brothers all looked alike very
My
much,
my
right?
brother David has always been the thinnest one.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, this is a little bit of a scary photo. Just let me bring it up. Which one's me?
Oh, good Lord. I'd be hard pressed to tell. I would say the guy on the left, but I might be wrong.
I am the guy on the left.
Okay. Okay.
But I notice the see
Yes.
the darker hair on the one in the right.
Yes.
But we've got the same mustache.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. I,
this
I
is
I only have the one brother, and oddly enough, we do have some resemblance, but not a lot. When we were younger, he had very blonde, fair hair, and had I don't know, he has a rounder face than me, and a lot of people we'd meet other friends or stuff. Or I introduce him to some people, and I'd say, "This is my brother Bernie," and he'd go, "That's not your brother." It's like, "What do you mean it's not my brother? It's my brother." And and they'd say, "Well, you guys don't look alike." And so, but yeah, as he grew older, there was more and more resemblance. Of course, now it's hard. It's very hard to try and pin a family resemblance on him because he shaves his head because he's completely bald. Because he lost his hair as of 35 years old. He was thinning hair, unbelievably thinning hair. With blonde hair, it was even worse. So at one point, he was like wearing this comb over thing, and I took him aside and I said, "You know what? That's not working for you." And like 3 months later, he had shaved his head. So, oh yeah, is this one of your brothers?
yep. That's the
Yeah.
same brother from the
Oh, same
previous photo.
brother. Okay, yeah, I can see the facially. Yeah, if I take away the white hair and just focus on the face, yeah, this is really like, yeah, I could totally say that's your brother.
Yeah. That's when he received the Meritus Service decoration is what they call it,
Okay, yeah. How long
and
was he in the Navy?
that was the 35 years.
Wow. My father started in the Navy and then transferred over to the Air Force. But he spent 51 to 55, I believe. 50. Yeah, he was still in the Navy when I was born, and then he transferred to the Air Force. So yeah, I think he was 5 years in the Navy and then 15 years in the Air Force. And,
My father started in the Navy, I think, in 50,
mhm.
and his first ship was an aircraft carrier.
Wow, I think we don't have any aircraft carriers anymore.
Not anymore. No, the
No,
last two was the
the
Bonaventure and
Bonaventure.
the Magnificent,
Yeah.
and I think he did a stint on both.
Okay.
Admiral Frewer was a captain for one of them,
Oh yeah.
and his son is Matt Frewer,
Matt Furr.
who's
Yeah.
also Max Headroom.
Right.
Uh, but you know
What,
what
what, what,
I
what,
found out?
what was your
He,
father's role on the ships on the Navy?
communicator.
Communicator. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
He,
dad ended up working for NORAD for a while.
oh, okay.
He was a radar fighter coordinator. He was essentially a military air traffic controller. Yeah, but that was very stressful. And after a while, we transferred to a bunch of radar for NORAD for the distant early warning line and NORAD
Mm.
installations. The biggest one in Canada was in North Bay. It was sunk into a mountain,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where he ended up. And then automation came in, and he was out of a job. So okay, so he transferred over to something else in the military and
Yeah.
finished his career. Uh, we wound up in St. Hubert, the Air Force Base in St. Hubert. Just he left the Air Force in '71, the year after the October crisis. He was on the base at the during the October crisis. He was on duty at the base the night they found Pierre Laporte in the trunk of that car. So yeah, he had some he could tell a few tales about what the armed forces personnel thought about the FLQ.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it probably wasn't easy on him being French Canadian.
no, not at all, not at all. Plus, I mean, he would come home basically from his shifts at the Air Force Base, and I could see there were things he wanted to talk about, but things he knew he couldn't talk about. And I was 15. I was 15 in 1970. And there were things that he said. He told my mother. He says, "I can tell you because you're capable." But he says, "I don't ever want to tell the kids this or these type of things." And I think he suffered. I think that's probably what he probably would have gone. He probably would have continued in the armed forces for another 5 years because he finished with 20 years service. But that sort of like left him with a little bit of PTSD because it was so traumatic that he thought, no, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I'll go on to something else. I'm done with the military right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, back then, of course, it wasn't known as PTSD. It was just things that happened.
Yeah. Shell shock and
Yeah,
stress.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Well, this was all over the bloody map.
oh,
How are
yeah.
you doing, Mike? This is supposed to be the check-in show. We went way off topic today.
Well, I checked in with you. It's,
Yes, and you checked in with me, and we spoke and talked,
yeah.
and yeah, and what's on the menu for you for the upcoming days and weeks?
Well, I worked a lot in the past week,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm thankful for, of course, always. And tonight, the vaudeville variety show is happening at the Wiggle Room with
Mm-hmm.
the Love Doctor,
Mm-hmm.
and I've got so I'm going to be appearing on that as well. Uh, that's something I'm looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, I'm going to be releasing a pre-recorded video with Erica Tadeo
Mm-hmm.
uh, about the Wheel of Time series.
Okay.
So that's airing on Amazon,
Right.
and just have to finish up the editing bits, of course. Um, what else do I have coming up? Oh, Battlecom is on
Battlecom.
Monday.
I was just about to say, don't you have a Battlecom coming up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Battlecom is happening Monday. It was supposed to be this past Monday, but work sort of encroached on that.
Okay. You still having Barry Carter on?
Yeah, Barry
Okay.
Carter is going to be on it. Jason Hattrick's going to be on it.
Right.
Scott Carter is going to
Right.
be on it. So we got both the Carter boys and AJ Young.
Okay.
So AJ Young is going to be
The newbie.
being his
Yeah. Road. Yeah.
sarcastic best.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's Erica and I are going to be tackling that. So
Okay. And that's Monday.
that is Monday at
Okay.
8 p.m.
Good.
Of
I'll try and tune
course,
in. I'll try and tune in on that because Barry I love. Jason and all four of them are great guys. So
the,
definitely
the
try to tune in.
the link is running on the bottom to all
Okay.
the different shows.
Right.
And actually, I guessed it on Barry's Tuesday night podcast
Oh yeah.
uh, just this past one. So it's the Iconis podcast. If you search for that on YouTube, Iconis podcast,
Hmm.
or see the link that's on my Facebook page, you'll be able to see me chatting with Barry about a semi-obscure comic book character by the name of Grimjack. But the Russo brothers, who are two directing powerhouses, have bought the rights to
Hmm.
it, and so there is the fingers crossed that they're going to bring it to either the big screen or to the small screen as a series.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't. It's been years since I've seen Barry in person. Of course, and
Yeah.
pandemic didn't help. But yeah, I always thought Barry was a really great comic, fun
Yeah.
guy, and such a nice guy too. Nice person. Whenever we would talk after shows or before shows, and he was always like very down to earth, very very approachable. I always loved Barry.
Mm.
Yeah. So yeah, and I have been writing material that I had itching to get on stage and do because there's a bunch of stuff that a lot of things just pop into my head at times, and I think, oh, that'll premise this here, but that a couple of lines here, but there's a couple of things that I really am itching to get on stage, and I can't even project as to when my next stage, when I next get on the stage anywhere. So
Mm.
I'm looking forward to that, like you wouldn't believe. I'm so starved for stage.
Yeah.
It's like it's not like I've been off of crack for 3 weeks, but almost. Yeah.
I've written probably the stupidest thing I've ever written, and I don't know if I could ever bring it to the stage, but it's just a quick little one liner is a I get accused of writing a lot of smart comedy, and the fact that you guys aren't laughing is telling me a lot about you.
You got to use that, man. You got to bring that to the stage. You have to work the pause a little bit. I don't know. There's got to be another little sort of like dropped hint before you go for the punch. You know,
Yeah.
smart comedy, thoughtful, insightful. You guys don't laugh, so it tells me a lot about you. That's great. I like that. I like that a lot. I'd laugh at that. So, oh my God. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we should wrap it up.
We should wrap it up. We've
Yeah.
been at it for close to an hour.
Almost an hour. Yeah.
Yeah,
Almost an hour of nothing, just like Seinfeld.
thank you for the person who is watching us at this point in time.
Yes.
You can always just say hi,
Yeah.
but we're going to be leaving you very shortly. So look forward for Mike Gamash's return to the stage.
As he is.
Check out there is still tickets available for tonight's Vaudeville Variety Show.
Yeah.
There is just I think it's like one table left.
Mm-hmm.
So I recommend trying to get it as soon as possible.
Yeah. I also miss going out to see comedy, not just performing. I also miss being able to go to a show.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, and Sunday night is going to be the return of The Love Doctor, which was also sort of delayed. So it's episode 2 of season 3 of The
He's
Love
a
Doctor.
very nice boy.
He's a bit snarky at times, but I guess we'll agree to disagree on that one. Managing somebody else's business is it's horrible.
He's an acquired taste.
He is. There's some people who've tasted him though. So
okay, TMI.
on that laugh.
On that, yes.
Take care. Be well.
Be